Thank you so much. That was amazing, huh? Whew. Good morning, Unity on the Bay. Woo. So I have had just the most, first off, I just want to thank everyone who has made me feel so welcome and supported while I've been here. There are so many people who have just been there. I had the privilege of spending the weekend with the prayer chaplains. And I really hope y'all know how magnificent that team is, what they bring, what their commitment is, how much love and dedication, how much of themselves they bring to this powerful space of anchoring consciousness. Not just for you, not just for themselves, not just for you, but for the entire world. It's really been wonderful. So it's Father's Day, and there are so many ways that we can understand Father. And so, of course, being a spiritual community, the first thing that comes to mind is our Father, right? Our Father who art in heaven. And true confessions, I grew up in a conservative Orthodox Jewish household in New York City. And at 11, I wanted to be a rabbi. And I was told that I couldn't because I was a woman. And that began a lifelong journey for me to discover a way to step into my calling and to understand who I was in the world. So as Juan read off, I'm an agape practitioner, I'm an interfaith minister, and I'm a unity minister. And what brought me into New Thought, what brought me into this magnificent teaching is the healing that's possible. And I experienced it firsthand, and I experienced it through the gift of affirmative prayer. And that moment literally saved my life. It created an opportunity within me. So while some of us may have the Father in heaven who's very judgy, anybody have that judgy God, that judgy one sort of there? And some of us might have a more gentle, more compassionate relationship with Father in that way, in Jesus or in Buddha. And then, of course, there's our own fathers, and that's a picture of me and my dad. So he passed away 14 years ago on Father's Day weekend. That's so my father. Never gonna let you forget. And his birthday is May 31st, and so my wife always says to me, she says, you know, that period between the end of May and Father's Day, you're kind of a mess. You cry all the time. 14 years later, right? I mean, it's still there. It's still there. But whether they're here or they're not here, I want to open us up into this idea of the divine idea of Father, which transcends biology, which transcends everything, where it's about this divine idea that is there to support us and to nurture us. And when I think about the divine idea of Father, I do think of my own father. Anybody in here have their parents try to instill in them something that they couldn't do themselves? Right? Which is a great thing, right? It's like that's how we grow generationally. And my father really instilled in me this awareness that I could be courageous, that I could be strong. He actually instilled in me that I had to be self-reliant because he wasn't going to take care of me past a certain point in time. But it was a gift. It was a gift for me to have to discover within myself, what does that mean? What does that look like to be self-reliant? Now, we know in this teaching, when we say self-reliant, we're not talking about, I'm talking about what Emerson's talking about with self-reliance. I'm talking about the soul's self-reliance. I'm talking about God-reliance, right? As my life with a capital S, that kind of reliance. And so into this space, there is this beautiful process called affirmative prayer, which is all about the empowerment of your true nature and your true name. And as I said, my first experience with affirmative prayer ignited within me an awareness of, well, let me be honest, hope. It was just hope. It was like, oh, maybe there's something else possible besides this depression and this horridness that I feel like I'm sinking into, this miasma of emotion that I could not release myself from. Can anybody in here relate to that? And then this person reflected back to me the truth of who she saw me as. And I was a mess. Let me be honest. I was crying, sobbing, like I was a mess. And she didn't see the mess. She saw my wholeness. She saw my strength. She saw my capacity to heal when I didn't know if I could. And in that moment, something ignited within me and transformed. And here I am, right, 22 years later, sharing this gift of affirmative prayer, because it is truly the most powerful transformative process that you could possibly step into for healing. And I really do mean that. So I wrote a book. And it's a good book. I was telling the earlier service, as I was getting on the flight to come here from California, I got an email from Ellen Debenport, who's the head of communications at Unity, and who had agreed, she was the one who agreed to publish the book. And she sent Linda and I an email that morning saying, just so you know, your book has been the #1 bestseller in Unity for the past 3 years. And this was an act of courage. Make no doubt about that. This was an act of courage to step out in this way. And so what I want to share with us is, how do we tap into all that limitless potential? All that potential that is ours, that, we sort of go, oh no, that's not me. All that humanness that we have that says we're unworthy, I'm not good enough, I can't possibly, oh no, not me. How many times has somebody said to you, I think you're perfect for that, and your first impulse is, oh no, what, right? It's our humanness. And so what I like to say is that we are 100% human, and we are 100% divine. And I know the math doesn't make sense, but it's totally true. We are 100% human, and we are 100% divine. And part of what we believe in Unity is that our work, the reason why we're here, is for the revelation of our Christ nature, that we are here to reveal more and never less of our true self. So affirmative prayer provides this powerful transformation process. So Charles Fillmore has a very famous quote about affirmative prayer, where he says, affirmative prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known. Don't you love that oldie-timey talk? Right? But then he goes on, and the second part is not as well known, which is that human consciousness synchronizes with Christ mind. Yeah, isn't that awesome? It's like, it's a process that allows us to integrate our 100% human and our 100% divine. We don't deny our humanness. We don't deny the pain. We don't deny the loss. We don't deny what that human part, what our humanness is experiencing, because it's not a part. It's like, it's all at the same time one thing. And yet, our divinity is never worried. Our divinity is never afraid. Our divinity is that the power and the presence and all that is available to us. So how do we access that? How do we affirm our spiritual identity? Because this is what I worked with the prayer chaplains on all weekend. How do you stand in your spiritual identity rather than your human one? Because I don't know, there's a lot going on in the world, yes? It's a rough world out there right now for a lot of us. So that's asking something. It's asking us to be able to be present with the pain and the fear and the worry and the concern and all of those things. But we want to hold that in the container of wholeness. I turned on I was in the hotel and I was getting breakfast, and the news this morning about what's going on in Minnesota broke my heart. Just cracked my heart open. And that's my humanness. And I'm not going to pretend that that isn't what my humanness was feeling. And yet, there is the truth of who and what I am, the truth of who and what you are, the truth of who and what everyone in Minnesota is, the truth of who and what this world is. And that is bigger, that is larger, that is more powerful than anything that's actually unfolding just in time and in space. So the prayer process that I want to share with you today is sort of what I call the heart of affirmative prayer, right? The heart of affirmative prayer. And it's there's 5 movements. Come to my workshop at 1 o'clock, you'll get more of this. But there's 5 movements, 3 of them in the middle. This is the part I want to focus on. God is, I am, therefore I can. Everybody say it. Oh, you're so much more awake than the first service. I love it. God is, I am, therefore I can, right? You can feel how it's something we can hold on to. It's not complicated. Prayer is not about your mind. That's oldie-timey language. This is one of the reasons why Linda and I wrote the book. That there's been an evolution in understanding since Charles and Myrtle were writing what they wrote. And so this book is about bringing it into now. How do you activate affirmative prayer in a way that we can understand it now, with the language we use, with the way we hold the world? And so if God is, yes? Okay, so God is basically everything, yes. It is all that there is. It is the infinite mind. It is omnipresence. It is omnipotence. It is all these things. How useful is that to you personally? Really? I mean, for me, it's not very useful. I'll be totally honest. It feels overwhelming. If God is all of that, and yet I'm supposed to be divine, I'm not all of that. At least I don't feel like I'm all of that. So what if instead of trying to be all of that, we just pick one aspect of the divine and say, I am that. I am that one thing right now. And we pick the most useful thing that we need in this moment, so human, divine, integrated, coming together in service to each other, right? So how Unity understands God is through what Unity calls the 12 powers. People here familiar with the 12 powers? So if you're not very familiar, I have these adorable little business cards that are the 12 powers. They describe each of the powers, and they give you an affirmation for each one of them, and they're going to be over at the table. So if you're interested in knowing more about them, you can also read Linda Martellowitz's book, Divine Audacity. It's fabulous. With the 12 powers, so the way Charles Fillmore described the 12 powers is that if we balance and bring into harmony all 12 of these powers, then we are revealing the Christ. So we have faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, life, zeal, release, and order. Now, so we've taken all that God is, and now we have 12 things. That's still a lot, isn't it? I mean, that's still a lot to think that I got to do all 12. Okay, so you don't have to do all 12. Just pick one. All right, maybe 2. I know you. You all want to pick like 3 or 4 or 5. I know you do. Restrain yourself. Just pick 1, maybe 2 of these powers to say, okay, if God is life, then I am life. Breathe into that for a moment. I am life. And life is our capacity to invigorate, to enliven, and to activate. So what is possible now if you are actually understanding that you are life, not just cognitively? Affirmative prayer is a beingness process. If you are understanding in your being that you are life, what can you do? What can you accomplish? What is it that you get to step out as in time and in space? Because we are the hands, the feet, the voice, the living expression of that divine. And these divine qualities, these 12 powers, give us an access point to live into that more fully. Is everyone with me? Yeah? It's about personal empowerment. And I'm not making this stuff up. Myrtle said this. She said, she'll find the quote, this is our method of prayer. Acknowledging our oneness with God, claiming the ability that this gives, and expecting to have the things needed and conducive to spiritual progress. She doesn't say you get the Maserati. She says you get the things that are conducive to spiritual progress. I had a friend once when I said, I'm an agape, it was in my interfaith seminary, and I said, I'm an agape practitioner, and she was like, oh, those New Thought people, you think God is a vending machine. And I thought, oh, wow, I get why somebody would think that, right? But that's not actually the truth of our teachings. The truth of our teaching isn't about things. The truth of our teaching is about our being able to reveal the Christ that we are. And that affirmative prayer is our process for accessing those spaces and places within us that we don't think we are, because our humanness shuts it out. So here is, this is instructions from the Ministry of Silent Unity way back in the beginning. And if you don't know, Unity actually began with the Ministry of Silent Unity Society. Like, that's how we started, was as a prayer organization, right? So, we do not pray for people to receive the multitude of things for which they ask. Neither do we pray for specific results in personal matters. Take a breath. Okay? Because I know we all want, I want that job, I want that relationship, right? Take a breath with me. It's okay. We're going to be okay, I promise. For example, we do not pray that a certain person may be influenced to buy a piece of property, or that one may obtain a particular position that he may have in mind. Nor do we pray that anyone may fall in love with, or become engaged to, or married to another. Can you imagine the letters they were getting that they had to actually write that out? The real need of each one is wisdom, understanding, and good judgment. And it is these that we pray. That is what we're being invited into with affirmative prayer. We're being invited into this place, this space, where we can understand what is possible, because I'm not rejecting the truth of who I actually am. And it can be a little scary. Ooh, I'm divine. What, huh? One quality at a time. It's much easier to say, I am zeal. Do you think I'm zeal? Do you think that's one of my powers? I am zeal, right? Than it is to say, I am all the. I'm zeal. I can be zeal today. That I can do. I can engage in that in time and in space. I can be the manifestation of zeal, which is about enthusiasm and devotion, right? It's about that energy of moving things forward. So, we have God is, I can, God is, I am, therefore I can. Let's say that one more time. God is, I am, therefore I can. So really quickly, I'm going to give you some examples of what it would look like. I do, again, have a workshop at 1 o'clock, and we're going to be doing a lot of this. That's the workshop. So if God is wisdom, and I am wisdom, I can choose wisely and well, discern clearly. I can trust my decisions. Can you feel how concrete that is? Can you feel how it's something we get to live into? If God is strength and I am strength, then I can be strong and steadfast. I can have courage and tenacity. If God is love and I am love, I can open my heart. I can care about others. I can bring people together. I can speak compassionately even when someone is really annoying. All right? I have that capacity as love. If God is joy and I am joy, I can be lighthearted and have fun. I can dance freely and not care who's watching. I can uplift others. And if God is power and I am power, and I do believe that this is the power right now that the times are calling us, this is our capacity we are being called into, which is to be powerful and have self-mastery. The ability of power is located in our throat chakra. And it means that we're capable of speaking truth, especially truth to power over. Feel like that's relevant in our time right now? And if God is power and I am power, then I can change the world. Who would you be if you walked out into your day, every day, aware of your spiritual identity? Aware of what was possible for you to live into, to own it, to say, yes, I am zeal. Yes, I am life. Yes, I am wisdom. And to allow yourself to be transformed. So we're going to say it one more time. God is, I am, therefore I can. And I have an affirmation that I'm going to say once, and then I'll invite you to know with me. The activation of the divine masculine through affirmative prayer blesses, energizes, and enlivens my life. Please? The activation of the divine masculine through affirmative prayer blesses, energizes, and enlivens my life. And so it is. So I have books over there if you're interested in purchasing one. I am doing a retreat at Unity Village, July 9th through the 13th. There's still some spaces left if you want to come visit me at the village. And I'll be available after service, and then the class is at 1. Thank you.